Hey you guys, it's NJ from All to Love. How are you? So today I want to talk about spiritual awakening and the dark night of the soul. And this is a piece about the transformational path and the manifestation path and the spiritual awakening path. And something that I'm observing as I continue on this journey, it's like I think the way the sort of systematic imprinting or the systematic way of being paradigm, the systematic paradigm always wants to like box things in. And so what's happening when we begin to build momentum around the idea of the global paradigm shift and spiritual awakening and the actual beginning of the spiritual awakening process starts for more people. Thus we have this, I've talked about this before, but the sort of sense of the fabric of reality coming undone, systems collapsing, and then that ultimately continues. I guess it's, what am I trying to say? It's like, it's not like we have one spiritual awakening experience and then we're done, because that would be the old paradigm. That would be the systematic paradigm, being like, okay, that's enough of that now. Now you're good. Or having an emotional healing experience, which I talk about in the Fearless Life Guide as the emotional storms. Having one emotional storm and being like, okay, yep, now I'm good. And then I just go back. And that's ultimately why I, in a sense, have left the kind of yoga teaching paradigm from the system away, because it was starting to really hurt my soul that we want our spiritual practices to fit into this, what I feel is already a corrupted system, rather than evolve the system so that we're bred to be less corrupted and don't need yoga in that way, right? Because it would be a shape-shifting into our way of being as humans, just being more evolved, so that we don't need to slot in evolved practices on a weekly basis, or whatever that might be, whatever it looks like for you. I want to share this because of what I'm undergoing right now, and it's pretty safe to say that this month, up to these final days, that I am undergoing a dark night of the soul. And I have to say, having had my first vivid and very obvious spiritual awakening experience when I was 19 years old, as a 36-year-old woman, having stayed fairly committed to the path because the other was so painful, this intuitive spiritual awakening process doesn't end. It doesn't, like, we don't have this sort of final manifestation achievement and then we're done. It just continues to shine light, and thus we often, every rebirth and death cycle, there's gonna be a dark night of the soul. There's gonna be a form of a shed that happens, and there's an element to the dark night of the soul, to me, that just, there's a huge amount of processing and integration that takes place. There's an embodiment, and so that reawakening is also shifting us to such an extent that it's like mourning the past. You have to look at it that way, because it can be so deep and dark within the beingness that you are. And then, but even so, within the darkness, there's this light, and that light is essentially guiding us to our next phase of life. But what we're learning with astrology, of course, is that we have these cycles within cycles and patterns within patterns, and it's never quite done. But we are, certainly with some of the planetary alignments, we are moving into, individually and collectively, this feeling of movement, this feeling of pioneering systems which are in greater harmony with the whole, fully in harmony, ideally. I believe in humanity. And the dark night of the soul, I guess this is just really vulnerable, because the darkness that I'm processing right now would make me, in my past person, in my past life, hence all the suffering and pain of endeavoring to heal, right? And this dark night of the soul is really stirring up all of the failures, all of the you're not worthy, all of the you're not enough and you're never gonna be, so why are you trying? Nobody cares. What's the point? Like, it's stirring up all of these dense, icky feelings of, and then again, that's like the whole holding, carrying that stuff throughout one's life. It's a lot. It's profound as well, and it's deep, and it's so easy to see a person on Instagram or Facebook or where have you, and see their light and their perfection and whatnot, and then compare ourselves against them. I do it. That's why I'm sharing this. Like, I have to, when I go through these darkness spells, I often do. I have to come away from social and all of that, and really work diligently within my own mindscape and emotional field to stay present with some of the darkest and densest and like those feelings that want to squash you, the feelings that make you think that there's definitely no point in you being here, so you might as well just leave, like those, the feelings of depression, the feelings of unworthiness, they can still be present. And I just want to share with you guys, like, love that too, love the mystery, I definitely want to continue to share here, you guys. I'm also really appreciate your guys' love and support, and yeah, I'm sending out a big love hot vibrashe, and today I'm sending virtual hugs, and I'm also like receiving them. I'm also letting myself just receive virtual hugs and virtual love hot vibrashe, because yeah, this is what's come through in my awareness today. These cycles, the so-called spiritual awakening, the cycles just continue. We could call this stuff spiritual awakening. We could also just call it human evolution, because that's an obvious picture we appear to be telling. It's that humans kill themselves and or we evolve, which just means we become nicer and smarter. And stop denying the shits that we're in, stop living in denial of the fact that we're these pretty powerful, magnificent, alive beings, and start coming alive. That's what this is all about. And this is not the first. That's all I was gonna say about that, my beautiful spiritual buddies. Is like, the dark night of the soul isn't like necessarily a one-time thing, nor is an awakening experience. Evolution continues, life continues, and so do you. So Yeah, it's like come back to, don't forget to come back into your body. Don't forget to come back down to the ground, everybody. So I'm digging in. That's all I have to say. I'm digging in, and let's just see what happens, I guess.